Hey everybody, my name is John and I'm doing 365 days of alternate day fasting, and today is day 423. Yes, we're over a full year now. The first thing I want to say is that this channel now has over 1,000 subscribers, which is great, super gratifying and exciting. So thank you all for that. So one thing I want to do this year, if possible, is to get out more videos. And in order to do that, I'm trying to take out every barrier that I have to doing it. So I'm going to be doing more simple videos like this, where I may not write out all my ideas in detail and a little more off the cuff. Maybe it'll be more rambly, maybe it'll be more interesting. We'll have to see. So this video is about what is happening for me right now. We're in the beginning of year 2 and I'm definitely in a long plateau. This has been a plateau that's been going for a while. And so I've been thinking about that this week. I've noticed that I've been getting comments about people that are trying to help me, giving me ideas about like just cutting out sugar and eating clean and that'll take me there, or cutting out pop and diet pops and stuff and that will take me there. And what I realize is that it must be really frustrating for you guys, because my way of doing the diet is not, I don't want it to be based on willpower. To me, this isn't a thing that's, I'm not trying to hit a goal. I'm trying to move myself to a goal so that when I get there, I'll be able to stay there. So I'm really resistant to any major changes that will give me a short-term gain, but won't actually help me in the long term. And I know that can be frustrating to see, but I think that that's the only way I'm going to have success in this. I'm actually viewing this plateau very differently than I did last year. Last year, I was pretty desperate, right? I really needed to make some changes. I really needed to lose a lot of weight, and I felt pretty terrible. But this year, I've lost kind of half of the weight already. And so almost I think that like if I made it through a full year and I didn't gain any weight back on, that would be a type of success. Now, that's not what I'm going for, but I'm trying to have that kind of patience and look at this very differently than just kind of hitting a goal. One of the reasons why I'm not attacking this weight loss, like looking for the solutions to get to it right away, is that I really feel that willpower is kind of BS. There's a use for willpower, but I don't think that it's suitable for me, maybe. Maybe I just don't have willpower. I feel like I have total willpower when I have it, and then it slips away when I don't have it. And I realize that that's really based on maybe my motivation, maybe my dopamine levels with this ADHD stuff that I've had. So I know that trying to tough something out for the long term is just not going to be successful for me. So I don't want to move to anything that feels like super efforts involved. There's places for willpower. So for example, I'm having some trouble getting through my fasting days sometimes. And what I realize is that the window of breaking my fast can be pretty small. And so that's a place where for an hour, if you need willpower for an hour and that gets you through it, maybe that can be the solution. I'm going to see. But for forever, keeping weight off, willpower is not the answer for me. So this week, I've kind of been collecting my thoughts on what I should be focusing on, what are the issues for me right now. And actually, the weight loss plateau is kind of low on the list. That's what I found to be very interesting. There's 2 things that I've been thinking about. One of them is keeping my fasting days. Losing more weight would be great, but more important for me is not gaining weight back. So long as I can keep it steady for a while, then I can work on other things, and I think we'll slowly get it down from there. And then my number 1 concern is energy levels. Energy has been a long time complaint that I've had for so many years. And certainly last year when I was getting into this fasting project, that was one of the things. And not just when I started it, and being a bit lethargic, but actually before that, I felt that my energy was really low. And of course, I do have ADHD, which I just found out within the last, 5 months or so. So now for the first time, I have a possibility of working out this energy problem, figuring out how to fix it. If I had that solution at the beginning of the fasting thing, that would have been so exciting for me. It's just such a difference between last year and this year. The fact that there's a possibility that this energy problem can be something that I can really deal with for a long time, maybe permanently. Having enough energy is the the driver. This is the engine of being successful for me, for losing weight, and also for like my entire life, frankly. But you know, if I have a lot of energy and a lot of motivation, then I'm doing more things, I'm more active, I'm going to the gym, I have more energy to focus on putting up videos and losing weight and all those types of things. So the heart of the matter is energy for me. And the main change, obviously, for energy for me has been my ADHD medication. So that's the thing that I'm working on now, is the dosages of that. And also just kind of watching my energy patterns now that I'm taking medication for this. I always had patterns, you know, of high energy and low energy. And that was my big complaint through last year, the middle of last year, where I had my highest energy was still pretty terrible and my low energy was super low and lethargic. So now everything's jumped up, but the pattern is still there. So for example, last week, I was kind of on a low energy. It was reasonable, you know, I could still do things, but there was just that lack of heart in a lot of stuff and a lack of like super willpower. So I could keep moving forward, which was exciting. But what I'm trying to work out now is a way of having less big cycles, you know, so that that when it have low energy, it's not so low and it doesn't last for as long. And I don't know what causes that. I kind of think maybe it's a dopamine burnout or something like that. It feels like as I kind of work out what the patterns are, that there'll be a solution. So the other thing that I've been kind of noticing is sugar levels. So I really feel that now that I have this idea about my energy and motivation coming from dopamine, that maybe a lot of my sugar intake is based on having low dopamine. It's my theory anyway, but I think that it's a reasonable one. This last week, it's been interesting because my sugar intake became super high for a while. I'm just in the observation stage. I never beat myself up for this now, because my goal isn't to stop having sugar for a day. My goal is to lessen my sugar over time and lower the total amount of sugar that I'm getting in the future, right? So it's like moving everything slowly down into a better way of eating and a better way of interacting with food. I was quite surprised because I've gone through periods where my interest in sugar was much less, and then it became super high. And so I took note of that, and now it's kind of going down again. And as it goes down again, it feels like my ability to get through my fasting days improves, which is also exciting. While it might feel like I'm not really focusing on the fasting stuff, I really am. I'm just kind of doing it in a different way. And so this is my suggestion for all of you guys as well. If you are setting up a plan for yourself, if you think a little longer term, less immediate need for a result, but over a longer period of time having a much better result, you make very different choices. I make very different choices when I do that. Every time I feel the urge to kind of be tough on myself and put up a new rule, I take a step back. Maybe that's something you can do in the future, but you don't need to do it immediately. Right now, I want stability and then slowly moving down. Actually, one of the things that I've planned for this year that I'm pretty sure that I'll do is I think I'm going to try to do some low carb stuff, but not for long term. It used to be that if I did a dietary thing like that where I was going low carb, I was like, oh, I really want to kind of jump right into that, and that's going to be my thing now. But that isn't the way I'm going to do it. Still, fasting is my base, but I think I might try to do periods where I do like a week or maybe 2 weeks of low carb, see how I respond to that, and see if that really helps lose weight, and then see when I go back to eating kind of more normally, if the weight stays at a lower level or if it jumps back up again. There's going to be a ton of experimenting. I'm not jumping into that yet. That's not my focus yet, but it is something on my books, something that I'm planning. I'm also thinking of doing more blood sugar glucose monitoring to get some real information that way, which is something I want to talk to you guys about. I'm going to at some point be getting a personal trainer at the gym, see how that helps. I have a lot of plans for this year. I'm not into the acting on those type of things phases yet, but it's coming. So that's where I am now. That's what this week has been like and what I'm focusing on right now. I do hope that this hasn't been too rambly. I just would rather get more stuff out to you than less. Hey, thanks for watching so much, and talk to you next time.